Hi girls and boys! In this Hungarian lesson I'm gonna show you how to introduce yourself and how to speak about yourself in Hungarian. Have you ever tried to make new Hungarian friends and you didn't know what to say or how to start? Telling your name, what do you do for a living, where do you live and other basic stuff. Are you preparing for your Hungarian citizenship interview? And as you know, there is a part in the interview where they ask you to tell about yourself or maybe write about yourself. That's the lowest hanging fruit in the interview. You can just watch this video and let me help you create your own introduction. Then you just need to practice it. And you can check off that part from your preparation list. I show you how to tell your name, about your age and when you were born, about where are you from, where you live, what you studied and what you do for a living, about your workplace, about your family, kids, siblings, partners, about what you do in your free time, what languages you speak, and about your pets. Quickly, I'll tell you about the structure of this video, then we start to learn Hungarian, I promise. I will show you how to speak about the topics mentioned before one by one. I'll tell you a normal statement in Hungarian and English. For example, Budapesten élek. I live in Budapest. Then I show you how to ask about that statement. Hol élsz? Where do you live? Then I show you a short answer to the question. Budapesten. In Budapest. So when you speak in a monologue, let's say you are in an event and everybody has turns to tell a few words about themselves, then you use the long version, the statement. Yeah? Egyiptomban élek. I live in Egypt. But when you have a back and forth conversation, for example, you meet someone new in a party or in the citizenship interview, they will ask questions and they might ask you, Hol élsz? Where do you live? This is informal, they would ask it in a party. Hol él? Where do you live? This is formal, so citizenship interview. And you don't say a full sentence, Egyiptomban élek. I live in Egypt. It will sound robotish and unnatural, yeah? So you will have a short to the point answer. You will just say Egyiptomban, in Egypt. So there will be a long version, a question, and a short to the point answer to the question, yeah? And when it's possible, I will show different versions to express the same information. Zoltán vagyok. My name is Zoltán. Zoltánnak hívnak. My name is Zoltán. I'm called Zoltán. Yeah, so you need to use this nak, but we will see. You can see chapters at the video timeline if you are not interested in some parts, so you can skip them and get to the topic you are interested in. Also at the end I created one full introduction of an imaginary person, so you can see how it looks and sounds when you put everything together. I will read it first just in Hungarian, then I'll show the sentences with English translation as well. And you can have access to this PDF and extra audio if you become a paid member on my Patreon website. The PDF has everything you will see in the video and also an extra section where I collected all the questions in one place and I made an audio file just for the questions so you can practice answering them on your own. Links in the description. Without further ado, bemutatkozás, introduction. Név, name. So we will always have an állítás, a statement just like I said. Sárkány András vagyok. I'm András Sárkány. So in Hungarian we say first our family name and then the first name. In English you say the first name. In Hungarian it wouldn't be that, yeah? So Sárkány András vagyok. So Sárkány is the family name and András is the first name. I'm Sárkány András. This is literal. We can also say Sárkány Andrásnak hívnak. I'm called András Sárkány. Yeah? Then the question would be the informal, hogy hívnak? What's your name? Or how are you called? And you can also ask, mi a neved? What's your name? That's a literal translation for English, and that's cool. The formal way, so in citizenship interview, they would ask, hogy hívják? What's your name? How are you called? Mi a neve? What's your name? So I don't want to get too much into the detail of the grammar because that's a topic of another video. If you watch this, it's more about giving you some normal answers to these kind of things and not teaching the grammar. But when you speak in a formal way, then basically it's kind of like when you speak to a third person, yeah? But you will see. And a rövid, lényegre törő válasz, so the short, to the point answer would be just Sárkány András or András. Yeah? So they ask you, hogy hívják? Sárkány András. András. And just that's it. You just say your name. Usually you should use some suffixes. For example, in the long statement you say Sárkány Andrásnak hívnak, yeah? But for some reason when they ask you the question with the same structure, so hogy hívják or hogy hívnak, informally, you would just say Sárkány András or András. Or, obviously you need to substitute your name. This is true for every answer, of course. And don't ever say this. A nevem Sárkány András. So that is the literal translation of the English sentence, my name is András Sárkány. Nobody speaks like that. There is very, very few instances when it would be appropriate. Usually Hungarians don't speak like that. Grammatically correct, but not something that we would say, yeah? You can only see it, for example, in James Bond movies, because the iconic line, my name is Bond, James Bond, they say, a nevem Bond, James Bond, but basically that's the only occasion that would be kind of right. Okay, second point, születési adatokkor, birth data, age. So an állítás would be like, 1990. május 3-án születtem. I was born on May 3rd, 1990. So first of all, this is a ubiquitous thing in Hungarian. We like to start with the bigger thing. It's true to dates, names, address. We will see it later. Addresses. So you first start with the year, then the month, then you say the day. In this case, we used an ordinal number. So I will not write here because it will mess up the order of the PDF. But basically, you would say harmadik, which is the third, but we say on the third, so harmadikán. You will use these suffixes. Like I said, you need some grammatical knowledge for this video. So basically, you use some form of vowel harmony. If you know how to choose the right endings for plurals, then you will be able to choose, is it odikán, adikán, edikén, ödikén. Or you can just try to memorize the digits, because basically all the digits will be the same. So if you say harmadika, which is the third, then if you want to say the 33rd, har means harmadika. Yeah? Or also if you speak about a date, so on the third, it would be harmadikán, on the fourth, negyedikén, and so on. Yeah? I will just read it out loud for you, so you can actually hear it out loud. Yeah? So elsején, másodikán, harmadikán, negyedikén, ötödikén, hatodikán, hetedikén, nyolcadikán, kilencedikén. And you can also, so basically if you say the 29th, it would be very similar, you just say 29-edikén, yeah? So obviously you need some knowledge about numbers. I also have a video how to count to 1 billion, you can check it up. And also if you say like on the 10th, 10-edikén, 20-án, 30-án, yeah? And one more thing about the year. So in English you say 1990, yeah? But we say the full number, so we say 1990, so 1990, yeah? Like I said, I have a video about numbers. You can just check that, how to say certain numbers like 1991 and so on. The kérdés, the question would be, for informal, mikor születtél? Where were you born? And the formal would be, mikor született? When were you born? And the short to the point answer, 1990. május 3-án. So in general, when in the question you see the verb, you can just omit it. It would be a bit too official, and not official, it would be, like I said, robotish and unnatural, saying the full statement. Yeah, it's just much better and natural if you try to thrive and say the short to the point answers when somebody asks you. If nobody asks you, you just start to tell things about yourself. You will use the statements, the longer versions. Yeah. Another statement. 34 éves vagyok. I'm 34 years old. Yeah. And the question would be, for informal, hány éves vagy? How old are you? And for formal, hány éves? How old are you? And the answer could be like, I listed a few things. You can just say the number, 34. Or you can say, hány éves? 34, májusban leszek 35. 34, I will be 35 in May, yeah? So, just like I said, you can have different answers to questions. These are not written in stone. It's good to know just one or two basic answers to a question, but basically if you are adept with the language, obviously you can have different ways to express the same thing, yeah? And you can also say, so, hány éves vagy? 34, májusban töltöttem be. So, betölt, this is a verb, to fill in, but it will mean in this case to turn. So 34, I turned, we don't even say in Hungarian again the 34, but in English you will say I turned 34 in May. Sorry, I stumbled in this word. Okay, so we have another statement when we just want to say just the year. It will be slightly different. 1990-ben születtem. I was born in 1990. So as you can see that we use ben here, ben, it depends on what is the number, yeah? And here we didn't use, yeah? So because we put the suffix on the last thing which was on the third, yeah? So it will be different. So if you just say the year because you think the month or the day is not important, you just want to say the year, then you will say 1990-ben születtem. Or something with ban would be like 1996-ban születtem. Yeah? So I was born in 1996, if you say that. The question, informal, melyik évben születtél? Which year were you born? And the formal, melyik évben született? Which year were you born? And the short to the point answer, 1990-ben. In 1990. So I can't count how many times when I ask my students questions like this when we practice, they always want to tell a full sentence, the statement. I get the point, you want to practice your grammar, you are learning a lot, you know verb conjugation, you want to say it, but you also want to sound natural, and that's not natural if you say a full statement when I ask you. So if I ask you, melyik évben születtél, please just tell me a short two-point answer, 1990-ben, in 1990. Yeah? I provided a few extra versions here. So if you want to spice it up, yeah. So idén töltöttem be a 34-et. I turned 34 this year. Or if you will turn, then idén fogom betölteni a 35-öt. I will turn 35 this year. Or you can just use a simpler verb, to be. So idén leszek 35. I will be 35 this year. Or maybe you want to say which month will you turn. Májusban fogom betölteni a 35-öt. Yeah? I will be 35 in May. I want to draw your attention that we need to use the accusative case, the sign of direct object, if you use this verb betölt. Yeah? So you can see here 34-et, a 35-öt. If you just use to be, that's an intransitive verb, we don't need a direct object, so in this case we don't put any suffix on that, yeah, but otherwise you need it. Also here, maybe I can just mark it, yeah. And the last one, májusban leszek 35. I'll be 35 in May, yeah. Another statement about where you were born, yeah. Budapesten születtem. I was born in Budapest. Londonban születtem. I was born in London. New Yorkban születtem. I was born in New York. Magyarországon születtem. I was born in Hungary. Angliában születtem. I was born in England. Amerikában születtem. I was born in America. So you can see this endings like bon, ben. So yeah, it depends on what's the word orientation. It's either bon or ben, based on vowel harmony. But some of them uses on and on and on. Yeah. So why is it like that? I don't go into details, but in general, most cities in Hungary and the country Hungary using the suffix on and on. And most countries and cities using bon ben, yeah? Most foreign countries and foreign cities using bon ben, and only a few Hungarian cities would use bon ben. For example, Tokaj, Tokajban, or Debrecen, Debrecenben, but there are only a few of them. And if you are preparing to this citizenship interview or you are a foreigner who just want Hungarian friends, I don't think you would have Hungarian cities as your birth city. Yeah. Anyways, only a few countries would use bon ben, and those are countries which are islands, and not all of them. So there are, for example, Australia or Japan will use bon ben, so Japánban születtem, or Ausztráliában születtem. Those are islands and countries, but still they for some reason use bon ben. But if you want to say Ibiza, Ibizán születtem. So you will use the on suffix on Ibiza in general. Yeah. Then the question, informal. Hol születtél? Where were you born? Formal, hol született? Where were you born? And the short to the point answers, Budapesten, in Budapest, Londonban, New Yorkban, Magyarországon, Angliában, Amerikában. Yeah? Another statement, when we want to put together the time and the place of birth, yeah? 1973. július 4-én születtem Párizsban. So the informal, and I didn't provide any, okay, so, sorry, I just have to write it. I was born in 90, I will say this the Hungarian way, July 4th in Paris, yeah, okay. And I will need to just delete one line, so it will be good. Okay, sorry. The question, mikor és hol születtél? When and where you were born. The formal question, mikor és hol született? And the answer to that, 1973. július 4-én Párizsban. Okay. Then the third point, származás, állampolgárság. So origin, nationality. So állampolgárság is nationality and citizenship. Yeah. So the statement. Magyar vagyok. I'm Hungarian. Angol vagyok. I'm English. Francia vagyok. I'm French. Amerikai vagyok. I'm American. Kínai vagyok. I'm Chinese. Japán vagyok. I'm Japanese. And you can obviously substitute your own nationality. I just provided a few. And the question would be, milyen nemzetiségű vagy? What nationality are you? And the formal version, milyen nemzetiségű? What nationality are you? So before we go on, we will have, I think, if I remember well, we will have a few questions about nationality. You can have different ways. This needs a specific context. Usually you will have something like where are you from and so on. We will see down in the PDF when we go along with the video, we will see that. But if you specifically really want to inquire about the nationality, that's your question, yeah? So, Magyar, Hungarian, Angol, English, Francia, French, Amerikai, American, Kínai, Chinese, Japan, Japanese, yeah? We will see very similar statements about the same thing, expressing the same thing. So, if you want to say I'm a Hungarian citizen, magyar állampolgár vagyok. Német állampolgár vagyok. I'm a German citizen. Bolgár állampolgár vagyok. I'm a Bulgarian citizen. Spanyol-ukrán kettős állampolgár vagyok. I'm a dual Spanish-Ukrainian citizen. I will just put an enter here. Állampolgári citizen. Yeah, so I will question one. So I provided many questions here, so you can show you can ask these things in different ways. So again, this is not that I would ask you in a party, but if you really want to be specifically about nationality, you can also ask it this way. Milyen állampolgárságú vagy? What is your nationality? Milyen állampolgárságú? It's the formal way, and short to the point answer, magyar, német, bolgár, spanyol, ukrán. Yeah? You can ask a different way this, milyen állampolgársággal rendelkezel? What nationality do you have? Milyen állampolgársággal rendelkezik? This is the formal way. Yeah? As you can see, I marked it with bold. So this is the with suffix, so val, and we will need to use this in our answer. Yeah. So just a quick heads up about the val suffix. It has this weird characteristic that it assimilates to the last consonant. So if a word ends with a vowel, it's okay. You just put the suffix on it. So kutya, kutyával. But if the word ends with a consonant, it will assimilate to that. So you don't say gyerekvel, you say gyerekkel, so with kid. Yeah. Okay, so the answer should be like, if the question is, milyen állampolgársággal rendelkezel? Magyarral, némettel, bolgárral, spanyollal és ukránnal. Yeah, so you can say these. Also another type of statement, so if you, it's good for like cities, if you want to say I'm from Budapest or I'm from New York, or in English, actually this E suffix, it creates something that's very similar in English when you say New Yorker, Londoner, when you want to describe a person from a city, yeah? But in English, you don't really use it for many cities, just for a few, yeah? So that's why I've translated this way for New Yorker, but from Debrecen, you don't say Debrecener in English, you just say I'm from Debrecen, yeah? So, Budapesti vagyok, I'm from Budapest. Szegedi vagyok, I'm from Szeged, this is a Hungarian city. They have very good fisherman soup, halászlé, szegedi halászlé. Debreceni vagyok, I'm from Debrecen, another Hungarian city. New Yorki vagyok, I'm a New Yorker. Londoni vagyok, I'm a Londoner. Yeah? So this is where are you from. Questions. So we have this weird word valósi. You can't really translate this into English, but in sentences it makes sense. So hová valósi vagy, where are you from? So basically it's kind of like where do you belong to, where you should be, something like that. So hová valósi vagy, it's the informal way, or the formal way, hová valósi. And the short to the point answer, Budapest, Szeged, Debrecen, New York, London. Yeah, so basically you just state the city without any suffix or anything. And just like I said, if you are adept with the language, maybe you would answer it different ways. So there are wrong answers for certain things, but you can have many different ways to describe these things. And the newer statements, Budapestről származok. I'm from Budapest. Szegedről származok. I'm from Szeged. Debrecenből származok. I'm from Debrecen. New Yorkból származok. I'm from New York. Magyarországról származok. I'm from Hungary. Lengyelországból származok. I'm from Poland. Portugáliából származok. I'm from Portugal. So I just want to show you this one, but this is not my favorite option from the choices. So származik is, you don't really have a verb for this in English, or maybe you have to originate from somewhere, or to be originated from somewhere. In English, you would just say, I'm from here. Sometimes we use this sentence, but there are better options to say that. But yeah, this is one way to describe things. And the question would be, honnan származol? Where are you from? Melyik országból származol? Which country are you from? So in this case, you are specifically asking about the country. And the formal way, honnan származik? Melyik országból származik? And the short to the point answer, you would say you would use this rho suffix or bol, depends on what kind. Is the city using enon like Budapesten, or is the city using ban like New Yorkban? Yeah, so Budapestről, from Budapest. Szegedről, from Szeged. Debrecenből, from Debrecen. New Yorkból, from New York. Magyarországról, from Hungary. Lengyelországból, from Poland. Portugáliából, from Portugal. Yeah. New statement, Vácról jöttem. So I'm from Vác. Literally it means I came from Vác. Yeah. So you can say this if somebody asking about where are you from. So this is also a valid way to describe this. Párizsból jöttem. I'm from Paris. Bécsből jöttem. I'm from Vienna. Oh, one more thing. Don't use this option if you are actually in the same place. So if you are in Budapest, you wouldn't say I came from Budapest when you are actually in Budapest, yeah? So only use this if you are in another city or country, yeah? So Bécsből jöttem, I'm from Vienna. Magyarországról jöttem, I'm from Hungary. Kínából jöttem, I'm from China. Oroszországból jöttem, I'm from Russia. Írországból jöttem, I'm from Ireland. Csehországból jöttem, I'm from the Czech Republic. And the question would be, honnan jöttél, where did you come from, or formal, honnan jött. Of course, this question can mean different things, so you need to, the context will give you some help. So maybe it means, where did you come from right now? Are you coming from the shop? Yeah, it will be obvious in the situation what the person wants to know, yeah. And you can say Vácról, from Vác, Párizsból, from Paris, Bécsből, from Vienna, Magyarországról, from Hungary, Kínából, from China, Oroszországból, from Russia, Írországból, from Ireland, Csehországból, from the Czech Republic. Newer statements, Magyarországon nőttem fel. I grew up in Hungary. So felnő is to grow up. It's literal because fel is up, this part, and nő is to grow. It also means woman, but sometimes totally unrelated things can use the same word, so don't be surprised. Budapesten nőttem fel. I grew up in Budapest. Németországban nőttem fel. I grew up in Germany. Szlovákiában nőttem fel. I grew up in Slovakia. Hollandiában nőttem fel. I grew up in the Netherlands. And the informal question, hol nőttél fel? Where did you grow up? Or the formal one, hol nőtt fel? Where did you grow up? And the short to the point answer, Magyarországon, Budapesten, Németországban, Szlovákiában, Hollandiában. Let's go to the next point, lakóhely, residence, yeah? So a statement, Portugáliában lakok. Portugáliában élek. I live in Portugal. So él and lucky both means to live. They are kind of interchangeable if you speak about the place of residence, but él is more universal. So you can use the verb él if you want to say things like I don't want to die, I want to live. Nem akarok meghalni, élni akarok. Yeah? So in this case you wouldn't say lakni akarok. Yeah? So that's only for your residence. Yeah? Or I'm living a dream life. Áloméletet élek. Yeah? So for this one you use él, and also you can see that the word life comes from él, so élet. Yeah? But otherwise, if you're speaking about residence, sometimes I use élek, sometimes I use lakok. Both of them good. Yeah? Olaszországban élek, Velencében. I live in Venice, Italy. In English, you would first say the city and then the country. Basically, we could switch this up, so it's not a big. It doesn't make. It's not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter much, but yeah. So Olaszországban élek, Velencében. Pozsonyban lakok. I live in Bratislava. I like this. Usually, people surprise when they say, "Oh, so you have a separate word for this city." Yeah. So Bratislava used to be in Hungarian territory, a Hungarian city. So Pozsony, we have a name for that. Also for Bécs. Vienna. It didn't belong to Hungary. It was part of the Austrian-Hungarian monarchy. Anyways, we have a name. Also, Transylvania, we have a name for that. Erdély, and a few Italian cities like Naples is Napoli, Venice is Valencia. We just seen that, and also Florence is Firenze. So we have these. Kaliforniában élek, Los Angelesben. I live in LA, California. A Korcsolya utcában élek. I live in Korcsolya Street. Yeah, so if you want to say somebody, okay, well, where are you close to? Basically, that's what you say, or maybe you would say the street. Question, the informal. Hol élsz? Hol laksz? Where do you live? Melyik országban élsz? Which country do you live in? Melyik városban élsz? Which city do you live in? Melyik utcában élsz? Which street do you live in? And the formal counterparts, hol él? Hol lakik? Melyik országban él? Melyik városban él? Melyik utcában él? And short to the point answers Portugáliában, in Portugal. Olaszországban, Velencében, Pozsonyban. Kaliforniában, Los Angelesben. A Korcsolya utcában. Newer statements. A Deák Ferenc térnél élek. I live at Deák Ferenc Square. Yeah, so tér is square. So here we will use different things. So for example, we have this -nél suffix when you want to describe a proximity, a neighborhood of something. You can use a suffix. So Deák Ferenc térnél élek. I live at Deák Ferenc Square, so somewhere close to Deák Ferenc Square. You can also use an extra word instead of the suffix. So közelében, so a Blaha Lujza tér közelében élek. I live in the close by neighborhood, or I close to Blaha Lujza Square. A Madison Square Garden közelében élek. I live close to Madison Square Garden. Yeah. And the questions, informal, hol élsz, hol laksz? So you can be like, you have a broad question, where do you live? Or mihez laksz közel? What do you live close to? And the formal way, hol él, hol lakik? Mihez lakik közel? Yeah. So if you want to be specific, you use this. Maybe you asked first this question and the person give you a vague question, or maybe an answer like in Budapest. Thanks, geez, but maybe we live in Budapest, both of us, and I want to know what you are close to, because then I know how to organize some events with you or any program, yeah? So in this case, I want to be more specific, and I ask you, mihez laksz közel? What do you live close to? And in this case, hopefully they will say something like Big Ben, Madison Square Garden, or in Hungary, Budapest, they would say Deák Ferenc tér or something like that, yeah? And short to the point answers. Yeah, so like if you have this question, you need to answer these differently, yeah? So hol élsz, hol laksz? You would say a Deák Ferenc térnél, at Deák Ferenc Square, a Blaha Lujza tér közelében, close to Blaha Lujza Square, a Madison Square Garden közelében, close to Madison Square Garden. It depends on what you ask. So, like I said, you need some familiarity with grammar and the Hungarian language. So, this asks about location of place. So, you can use these suffixes or these words. But this question uses a specific suffix, hoz, hez, höz. So, basically, you need to use that in your answer. Yeah. So, that's why it's good if you can learn basic things that you say about yourself and how to answer questions, but you can memorize everything, but you can learn the grammar. So if you know the grammar, then you know that to answer a question like mihez, most of the time you need to say this hoz, hez, höz in your answer, yeah? Okay, a Deák Ferenc térhez. So mihez laksz közel? A Deák Ferenc térhez. Mihez laksz közel? A Blaha Lujza térhez. Mihez laksz közel? A Madison Square Gardenhez. Yeah? So you need to use this. New statements. Egy társasházban élek. I live in an apartment building. Yeah, it means that you have one building and there are many apartments in one building. Egy kertes házban élek. I live in a house with a yard. I always ask my students, how do you call in America, in the UK, Because we have words for this, we say kertes ház or családi ház. It means that you have a house and you have a yard, and usually you don't share it with somebody. Sometimes you have, because that's a different thing when you have an apartment house, a small one, maybe 4, 6 apartments in an apartment building, and they have their own yards, but you wouldn't call that a kertes ház or a családi ház. And basically this is the dream for everybody in Hungary, to have their own house with a yard, a kertes ház, családi ház. You could barbecue and have your own things outside, play, train, anything. So anyways, kertes ház and családi ház will be that. And egy kertes házban élek, I live in a house with a yard. Egy családi házban élek, I live in a house with a yard. Yeah? And the question, if you want to know, okay, are you in an apartment or a house, what do you live in? Milyen házban élsz? What kind of house do you live in? Formal way, milyen házban él? You can also use lakik. I didn't provide all of the possible answers. Yeah? So you can also use milyen házban laksz, milyen házban lakik. Yeah? And short to the point answer, társas házban, kertes házban, családi házban. Yeah? New statements, van egy lakásom a keletinél. When you want to say in one sentence more things, so where do you live and what do you have and so on. So van egy lakásom a keletinél. I have an apartment at Keleti railway station. And Keleti is short for Keleti pályaudvar, Keleti railway station. So Kelet is east, so you can say east railway station, yeah? But in Hungary everybody would say Keleti or Keleti pályaudvar. So usually we don't translate location names. Van egy házam Kecskeméten. I have a house in Kecskemét. Kecskemét is a Hungarian city. Van egy házam San Diegoban. I have a house in San Diego. Albérletben élek a Délinél. I live in a sublet at the Déli railway station. So Déli is the south railway station. Albérlet is the word for sublet. Yeah? So I live in a sublet at Déli railway station. Albérletben élek a Délinél. Nincs saját lakásom, a Nyugatinál bérlek egy lakást. Yeah? So if somebody asks you milyen házban élsz, so milyen házban élsz, yeah, that was the question. You can say, I don't have my own apartment, I rent an apartment at Nyugati railway station. Nincs saját lakásom, so saját is own, lakásom is my apartment. A Nyugatinál bérlek egy lakást, so bérel would be to rent, so a Nyugatinál bérlek egy lakást. By the way, if you wonder about the grammar, so there are a few verbs that have vowel omission. So bérel is to rent, yeah, but this is the kind of verb that would drop the the last vowel for I and also we. So okay, just quickly write it down. So bérlek, bérelsz, bérel, bérlünk, béreltek, bérelnek. Yeah, so it's not, no, it's Google is stupid. So, and this way. So you can see that there is no E between R and L here and here. So we rent and I rent. Yeah. So there are verbs like that. If you learn about Hungarian grammar, you are aware of that. Yeah. Okay. Then a question for this one. So we have a different type of questions for this. Van saját lakásod? Do you have your own apartment? Or formal, van saját lakása? And short to the point answers, igen, van. So if you ask a question like, do you have something, van valami, usually you would say, yes, I have. Igen, van. Yeah? Or you would say, nem, nincs, but we will get to that. So, and you can also elaborate on the answer. Yeah? So, igen, van egy kertes házam. Yes, I have a house with a yard. Or you would answer, nem, nincs, albérletben élek. No, I don't have one, I live in a sublet. Or you can also, it would look nicer if it's like this, yeah? And then, can I do it here? Yeah. You can also say, nem, nincs, a szüleimmel élek. No, I don't have one, I live with my parents. A szüleimmel is with my parents. Or you can also say, van saját lakása? Nincs, albérletben élek. So basically, sometimes you would just drop the nem. I just wanted to show you that one, yeah? So it's almost the same as this one, but without the nem. So nincs, albérletben élek. I don't have one, I live in a sublet. Nincs, a szüleimmel élek. I don't have one, I live with my parents. What I don't like, so if you elaborate on your answer, you can drop the nem, yeah? So here, if you say another sentence, it will not come as rude or too short. But if somebody asks you, like, van saját lakásod, and you just say nincs without continuing, it's a bit awkward. And I don't say it's rude, but you should provide a bit more info, or at least give the courtesy and say the full things like this, nem nincs. But if you elaborate, you can drop the nem and just say nincs, albérletben élek, or nincs, a szüleimmel élek, yeah? Okay, question 2. Maybe they didn't ask, so it's arbitrary. Maybe they ask about, do you have an apartment? Or maybe they will ask them, do you have your own house? Van saját házad? Formal way, van saját háza. And you will have very similar answers. Igen, van, yes, I have. Or you would say, házam nincs, de saját lakásom van. I don't have a house, but I have my own apartment, yeah? Nem, nincs, albérletben élek. No, I don't have one, I live in a sublet. And I can put an enter here. Much nicer, yeah? Nem, nincs, a szüleimmel élek. No, I don't have one, I live with my parents. Nincs, albérletben élek. I don't have one, I live in a sublet. Nincs, a szüleimmel élek. I don't have one, I live with my parents. Questions 3. So another way to ask about this, albérletben élsz? This is a yes or no question, yeah? So, do you live in a sublet? Or formal way, albérletben él? Do you live in a sublet? The answers, igen, yes. Nem, saját lakásom van. No, I have my own apartment. Nem, a szüleimmel élek. No, I live with my parents, yeah? And maybe you will have a question where you need to choose. So van saját lakásod, vagy albérletben élsz? Do you have your own apartment, or you live in a sublet? And formal way, van saját lakása, vagy albérletben él? And the answers, saját lakásom van, I have my own apartment. Saját házam van, I have my own house. Albérletben élek, I live in a sublet. Egyik sem, a szüleimmel élek. Neither of that. I live with my parents, because that wasn't in the options, yeah? Question 5, informal, még a szüleiddel élsz? Do you still live with your parents? Or formal way, még a szüleivel él? Még a szüleivel él? Do you still live with your parents? Yeah? This is something that you would ask from a younger person in his early 20s, yeah? So they still live with them, or they already moved out. And in this question, if you use még in the question, usually you either use még or már in your answer. So if you are still with them, you would say, igen, még velük élek. Yes, I still live with them. Yes, so velük is with them. Or you can say, nem, már külön élek tőlük. No, I live separately from them. Yeah? So from them in this case would be tőlük. Nem, már elköltöztem tőlük. No, I have already moved away from them. Yeah, so it's changed, so you say már. So if it was like this way until now, you would say még, and if it changed, you would say már. So I already live separate from them, or I already moved away from them. You can also say nem, már saját lakásom van. No, I have my own apartment now. Nem, már saját házam van. No, I have my own house now. Nem, már albérletben élek. No, I live in a sublet now. Then statements. So if you, for some reason, you just want to say your address, usually it would be like a citizenship interview and not like in a party. Hey, here's my address. But in general, if you just want to say this, a címem Magyarország, Budapest, 1075, 7. kerület, Károly utca 12, 3. emelet, 14-es ajtó. So my address, Hungary, Budapest 1075, 7th district, Károly Street 12, 3rd floor, door 14. So a few things about this. Like I already told you before, there is a ubiquitous thing in Hungarian logic. We always start with the biggest directory and going towards the smaller ones. And go towards the smaller ones according to Google. So addresses, you start with country, then city, then district, then street number, floor, and door number. I think it's much more logical because if you want to send somebody a letter, you want first that letter to get to the country, then they need to sort it out to put the right city and then to the right district and so on. You will not start with the number. So for me, it's much more logical. It's also true for names. You start with the bigger directory, family name, and then the so-called English first name. Yeah, and also it's true for dates. You start with year, then month, and then day. I think it's much more important that it's 2025 now than it's the 17th of January. Yeah, so you start with year, month, day. That's the Hungarian logic. Other things, how did I read it out loud? Yeah, so I read Magyarország, that was okay. Budapest, but this number, it depends what you say. Phone numbers and zip codes like this. Usually, so zip codes I like, and most people like to say two-digit numbers. So 10, 75, 10, 75. For phone numbers, it's different. Usually, I either want to say usually I try to say two-digit numbers, but it depends how you sort out the numbers. So maybe you would say, I just quickly write it here, and then I will 36, 27, 89, 90. So this one, for example, I will just say 06, so 06, 30, 30, 27. So I would say one digit number 627, so 627, and then I would say 89, 95, 89, 95. Yeah, so for telephone numbers. Then we get to the district. Yeah, so kerület is district, and we would say an ordinal number, so the seventh. Yeah, a hetedik kerület, or just hetedik kerület. And by the way, the zip code already tells you that. So usually we don't even write it on addresses. I just wanted to show you that. So in Hungarian zip codes, the second and the third digit is about which district is it in the city. Yeah, and I think the first one means that it's Budapest because that's the first city. Anyways, Károly utca, so Károly street, 12. So even though you see a dot here, which would mean an ordinal number like the 12th, we don't say that, we just say 12. So Károly utca 12, Károly street 12. Then we say third, so harmadik emelet, emelet is floor, 14-es ajtó, so this suffix s, so when we say it's like number something, so number, door number 14, or bus number 7, 7-es busz, so we like to use this suffix, so for door we would say this. But if you don't say ajtó, you can just say harmadik emelet 14, so third floor 14, that's also fine. Yeah? But if you say ajtó, you need to say that. I hope I don't rebel too much. Okay, so the question would be, mi a címed? What is your address? Or the formal way, mi a címe? What is your address? And short to the point answer, basically you just forgot about this part, my address. Yeah? So you don't say that, and you just say your address. Magyarország, Budapest 1075, 7. kerület, Károly utca 12, 3. emelet, 14-es ajtó. Okay, the fifth point, tanulmányok, foglalkozás, studies, occupation. It will be a bit tricky if I remember. Okay, Lettországban tanultam. I studied in Latvia. Berlinben jártam egyetemre. I went to university in Berlin. So, jár means to go regularly most of the time. So, you may already know that the verb to go usually means megy, and you need to conjugate that, so megyek, mész, and so on. But if you go somewhere regularly, you will use jár. So this is true for school. So if I go to if I want to say, okay, a kid wants to say to you that he goes to primary school right now, elementary school, általános iskolába járok. I'm going to elementary school because it's regular, you go every day and so on. So you will say, if you want to say, I'm going to the elementary school because I left my stuff there and I just need to go there now, just once, you would say, az általános iskolába megyek. Yeah? Anyway, so if you attend school, if you go to school regularly, you use jár, and this is past tense. So Berlinben jártam egyetemre, I went to university in Berlin. Or you can use a name, so Budapesti Gazdasági Egyetem, this is an existing Hungarian university. A Budapesti Gazdasági Egyetemre jártam. I went to the Budapest University of Economics, yeah? And you will use this ra, or you can say a Harvardra jártam. I went to Harvard, yeah? And here I gave some details, so detail, 4 évet jártam a Corvinusra, I went to Corvinus for 4 years, yeah? So you can say 5 évet, 6 évet, so 5 years, 6 years, if you were a bit lazy and you didn't finish it in time. Okay, question. Informal, hol tanultál? Where did you learn? Or hol tanult? I mean, it can mean different. It can mean the actual university. They want to know that you went to Harvard, or maybe it's just the city. And this is a bit tricky topic because whenever I practice this with my students, sometimes they, especially in the English-speaking countries, they have these. They don't have a name for the university. They just the University of Kent. Okay, so that's not what we say in Hungary, but we have ways to express this. Yeah. So, hol tanultál, where did you learn, or formal, hol tanult, where did you study? Both of them means the same thing, study, learn. Anyways, Lettországban, in Latvia, Berlinben, in Berlin. You can also say the name, a Budapesti Gazdasági Egyetemen, at the Budapest University of Economics, a Corvinuson, at Corvinus. This is also name of a university in Hungary. Another way to ask is, hová jártál egyetemre, where did you go to university, or hová járt egyetemre, formal way. In this case, I would recommend you to just say a concrete name for this question, az eltére. This is also very famous, prestigious Hungarian Budapest, so university from Budapest, in Budapest, to ELTE, a Corvinusra, to Corvinus, a Harvardra, to Harvard, and not a big O, yeah. You can also ask, melyik egyetemre jártál? Which university did you go to? Or melyik egyetemre járt? Which university did you go to? And you can say egy Lettország. Now I'm just giving you some options, which feels good for me for these questions. Obviously you can answer them in many ways. Egy lettországi egyetemre jártam. I went to a Latvian university. A berlini egyetemre jártam. I went to the University of Berlin, or I went to a university. I mean, I don't even know if there's the University of Berlin. I just made it up, but that's how I would say if that's the name. Yeah? If there isn't a name like University of Berlin, but just a university in Berlin, you can say Berlinben jártam egyetemre, or egy berlini egyetemre jártam, just like with lettországi. Yeah? So egy berlini egyetemre jártam. A Budapesti Gazdasági Egyetemre, to the Budapest University of Economics. A Corvinusra, to Corvinus. You can also ask, hol jártál egyetemre, so where did you go to university, or hol járt egyetemre. In this case, I would be interested in the place, yeah, not the name. Yeah? So, Lettországban, in Latvia, Berlinben, in Berlin, Budapesten, in Budapest. And just an extra question and answer, hány évet jártál egyetemre, or hány évet járt egyetemre, if you phrase it formally. How many years of university did you attend? And the answer, 4 évet, 4-et, 4 years. Or 2 évet, 2-t, 2 years. So if you say with év, you need to put the suffix on év, or you can actually create from the number a direct object, and you can say 4-et, yeah? 2-t. Okay, let's go on. Other statements. Biológiát tanultam. I studied biology. Kémiát tanultam. I studied chemistry. So, yeah, so use the sign of direct object on the subject. I mean, this is not a subject, not a grammatical subject, but like a subject you learn in school. Yeah, two different things. Pénzügy és számvitelt tanultam. I studied finance and accounting. Marketinget tanultam. I studied marketing. Orvostudományt tanultam. I studied medicine. Yeah, so orvos is doctor and tudomány is science, so doctor, science, medicine. And the question would be, mit tanultál? What did you study? Mit tanult? That would be the formal way, and you would say biológiát, biology, kémiát, chemistry, pénzügy és számvitelt, finance and accounting, marketinget, marketing, orvostudományt, medicine. Yeah? Again, some statements about what kind of degrees do you have. So you have many ways to say this. So a bachelor's degree would be BSc, that's what we say, or alapszak, alapszakos diploma, long, so like a basic degree or something like that, if you want to literally translate. So you would say BSc 1, BSc-t végeztem, so this verb require a direct object, so that's why you say T, or alapszakot végeztem, again you put the T on it. So like I said, if you don't want to memorize everything, it's better to know the grammar, and if you know the grammar, then you know that végez need to use T, at least you need to learn it once, but once you learned it, you will remember that whenever you use végez with an object, it will be a direct object, or in this case, I have, so you need to use possessive ending BSc 1. And how do you pronounce the pronunciation of BSc? So BSc. And the same with if I did a master's degree, so the same thing, you just use MSc. MSc 1, MSc-t végeztem, mesterszakot végeztem. Yeah? So végez is a synonym for to do. So usually we would say csinál or tesz for to do, but in some context you would use this. And so I carried out, I did operation, műtétet végeztem like a surgeon, yeah, or to carry out actually, and also we use it for to do a degree, yeah. So I absolved, I have a diploma or some sort of, yeah. So pronunciation of MSc is MSc, and now I will actually show you actual examples, yeah. So BSc 1 programozásból, it means I did a bachelor's degree in programming, yeah. So you need to use this ból, or BSc-t végeztem programozásból, alapszakot végeztem programozásból. Choose whatever option you want to choose. Basically, you need to use the field, and then it will be good. BSc-t végeztem történelemből. So actually these are two different stuff. So let's say, okay, so mathematics is this. Okay, I will just say this one is history, so people will know. So in history, I don't want to mess up the fields in the PDF, yeah, because otherwise it will look ugly. So BSc-t végeztem történelemből, I did a bachelor's degree in history, történelem is history. Alapszakot végeztem matematikával, I did a bachelor's degree in mathematics. But you can use any structure you want. MSc van turizmus és vendéglátásból. I did a master's degree in tourism and catering. Mesterszakot végeztem botanikából. I did a master's degree in botanics. And sometimes there isn't a good noun for certain professions, yeah. So, for example, you wouldn't say BSc-t végeztem tanításból, yeah. So I did a bachelor's degree in teaching. It's not something that you would say. So we can use other ways to express this. MSc-s tanári diplomám van. I have a master's degree as a teacher. So it will create an adjective. So now, and also the E will create an adjective. So my diploma or degree is a teacher degree, and I describe with this one. It's also an adjective, yeah. So we can solve this problem that we can't use actually a noun like tanítás. Again, you can also say mesterszakos tanári diplomám van. I have a master's degree as a teacher, same thing with different structure.
Or you can also say mesterszakot végzett tanár vagyok. I'm a teacher with a master's degree. I'm a teacher who did a master degree. Yeah, kind of like that. But you shouldn't really worry about the literal translations. You just need to learn the structures in Hungarian and substitute the right things. BSc-s mérnöki diplomám van. I have a bachelor's degree as an engineer. Alapszakos mérnöki diplomám van. I have a bachelor's degree as an engineer. Alapszakot végzett mérnök vagyok. I'm an engineer with a bachelor's degree. Yeah, and diploma is university degree. You will have different questions. Milyen diplomád van? What university degree do you have? The formal way, milyen diplomája van? And the short to the point answer, without any suffixes, yeah, BSc, alapszakos, MSc, mesterszakos. Actually, in this case, you use suffix, so mesterszak and mesterszakos, it creates an adjective. So what kind of, milyen, mesterszakos. Yeah? Programozás BSc, Bachelor's in Programming, történelem BSc, Bachelor's in History, matematika BSc, Bachelor's in Mathematics, turizmus és vendéglátás MSc, Masters in Tourism and Catering, botanika MSc, Masters in Botanics, tanári MSc, Masters in Teaching, mérnöki BSc, it's not Masters, it's Bachelor's. Bachelor's, okay. And then, question 2, mit végeztél? What university degree did you do? Just another way to express this question. Mit végzett, the formal way. But in this case, if you use this verb, or even more, this is a really good trick. So you may not know all the phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs would be like in English, looking for, yeah? So looking for, you need to know these two words together in order to convey what you wanted to say, yeah? To express your thoughts. And also in Hungarian there are phrasal verbs, but you need a lot of time to learn all of them. But if you speak with a Hungarian, for example in a citizenship interview, they ask you mit végzett, then you can hear, oh, there's a T at the end of me, so there's 98% that you need to use that suffix in your answer, so you will need to use a direct object. So if they ask mit végzett, you need to say BSc-t, alapszakot, and so on. So BSc-t, alapszakot, MSc-t, mesterszakot, programozás BSc-t, Bachelor's in Programming, történelem BSc-t, Bachelor's in History, matematika BSc-t, Bachelor's in Mathematics, turizmus és vendéglátás MSc-t, Masters in Tourism and Catering, botanika MSc-t, Masters in Botanics, tanári MSc-t, Masters in Teaching, mérnöki BSc-t. So this is Bachelor's. It was a long time that I was writing this. I made some mistakes, but now at least I'm correcting these. So, other statements. Mérnök vagyok. I'm an engineer. Orvos vagyok. I'm a doctor. Tanár vagyok. I'm a teacher. Fotós vagyok. I'm a photographer. Fodrász vagyok. I'm a hairdresser. Autószerelő vagyok. I'm a car mechanic. So szerelő is just in generally a repairman, but autószerelő is a car mechanic. Takarító vagyok. I'm a cleaner. You can also phrase it differently. So I work as an engineer. So mérnökként dolgozok. So you use this suffix. Yeah. Orvosként dolgozok. I work as a doctor. Tanárként dolgozok. I work as a teacher. Fotósként dolgozok. I work as a photographer. Fodrászként dolgozok. I work as a hairdresser. Autószerelőként dolgozok. I work as a car mechanic. Takarítóként dolgozok. I work as a cleaner. And you can ask different questions. So you can ask mit dolgozol, what do you work, mit csinálsz, what do you do. And the formal way, mit dolgozik, mit csinál. And these questions will have the above-mentioned statements as short to the point answers as well, yeah? So these are already short to the point things. So mit dolgozol? Orvos vagyok. You wouldn't just say orvos, yeah? So you can say gyógyítok, I'm healing, but that would be a bit weird. Or mit csinálsz? You can actually I didn't think of that before before I write in this PDF. You can actually use a verb. So mit dolgozol, gyógyítok, vagy mit, so I'm healing, mit csinálsz, fotózok, and actually we can say things like tanítok. Yeah, so that was stupid of me. I didn't think of that, but you can say actually verbs as well. I will not write this down, but I will tell you. So we don't really have a good verb for mérnök. And orvos is gyógyítok. Later I will elaborate on this, but this is not the best verb. Gyógyít is to heal, but it can be ambiguous. They could think that maybe you are a natural healer or some sort of something like that. But you can say tanítok, I teach. Fotózok, I'm taking photos. Hajat vágok, yeah, you can say that, so I'm cutting hair. It would be a bit weird, but yeah, hajat vágok. I would just say fodrász vagyok. These are all good for the short answers. That's sure. Autót szerelek, so I'm repairing cars. Autót szerelek. You can also say takarítok, yeah, so I'm cleaning. And so on. Yeah, but these are totally fine answers for this. These are short to the point, so these are all good. Okay. Then question 2. Mivel foglalkozol? What is your profession? It's a weird. It's hard to translate it into English because like what are you dealing with, something like that. But it's not really a good translation because you can't really translate this. Formal way of saying this: mivel foglalkozik? What is your profession? So again, you can just use the above mentioned statements here, like mérnök vagyok, orvos vagyok, totally fine. Or some people might actually answer like mivel. I just told you that you should pay attention to the suffixes at the end of the question words if a native speaker asking you. So mivel, and you can actually, so what are you dealing with? So you need to say with healing or something like that. So you can say gyógyítással, so gyógyítás is healing, yeah? So mivel foglalkozol? Gyógyítással, orvos vagyok. With healing, I'm a doctor. Or you can say tanítással, tanár vagyok. With teaching, I'm a teacher. Fotózással, fotós vagyok. With photography, I'm a photographer. Hajvágással, yeah, I think you can say that. Fodrász vagyok. With haircutting, I'm a hairdresser. Autószereléssel, autószerelő vagyok. With car repairing, I'm a car mechanic. Takarítással, takarító vagyok. I'm with cleaning, I'm a cleaner. I would just go with the simple one. Takarító vagyok, or autószerelő vagyok. It can sound a bit weird. Sometimes I would use this second one to say like tanítással, yeah, so it's okay, but you can go with the simple one. But if you go with the longer version, don't forget the second part, yeah? So, because it can be a bit too vague, yeah? So, for example, if somebody asks, mivel foglalkozol, what are you dealing with, what is your profession? And you just answer gyógyítással, with healing. I mean, I will need some extra information. I don't know, you are a doctor, nurse, or are you a fucking natural healer? You rip off people by healing them with crystals? Yeah, so I want to know more. So better if you don't say it shortly, but you actually then, okay, with healing, I'm a doctor. So mivel foglalkozol? What are you dealing with? Gyógyítással, orvos vagyok. With healing, I'm a doctor. Ó, remek, egy pillanatra azt hittem, hogy természetgyógyász vagy. Oh, great, for a moment I thought you were a natural healer. Jaj, dehogy is, én ténylegesen embereket gyógyítok. Oh, not at all, I actually heal people. Yeah, so you need to be careful, otherwise people will think you are a natural healer, and you don't want that. And also, we don't always have an appropriate noun for the field. In English, you have, for example, engineering, but in Hungary, we don't really have a good word for that. We just say mérnök vagyok, I'm engineer. So that's why I thought it's much easier just to say the simple one. Yeah? If you really want to say something about engineering, you need to know what kind of engineering in order to use this form. So if it's mechanics, you would say, mivel foglalkozol? What are you dealing with? Gépészettel, with mechanics. Gépészmérnök vagyok. I'm a mechanical engineer, so it's a bit more specific. Yeah? And some professions really don't have a word for the field that would be appropriate, like receptionist. What is her field? like okay, hospitality, but she wouldn't say that. She would just say, recepciós vagyok, I'm a receptionist. Or bolti eladó vagyok, I'm a shop assistant, yeah? You wouldn't say, I'm in sales. That's not what you would say. Okay, harmadik kérdés, question 3. Informal, mi a foglalkozásod? What is your profession? Mi a foglalkozásod? What is your profession? What is your occupation? Yeah? And again, you can just give the short, simple answers, yeah? But if you want to give this twisted, longer, elaborate one, then you can say something like this. Now you shouldn't use the suffix valve. So previously we said with healing, yeah? But now you would just say gyógyítás, orvos vagyok, yeah? And again, don't forget the second part. Tanítás, teaching, tanár vagyok, I'm a teacher. Fotózás, fotós vagyok. Photography, I'm a photographer. Hajvágás, fodrász vagyok. Haircutting, I'm a hairdresser. Autószerelés, autószerelő vagyok. Car repairing, I'm a car mechanic. Takarítás, takarító vagyok. I don't know why it's capital, it's just here, like this. So again, just use the normal one. I go through the same logic that I already discussed to you. Okay, so the 6-point munkahelyi workplace. Finally, we are over the studies part. It was a bit long. I hope it wasn't boring for you. The statements. 12 éve dolgozok a Siemensnél. I have been working at Siemens for 12 years. Yeah? 3 évvel ezelőtt kezdtem a Vodafone-nál. I started working at Vodafone 3 years ago. Könyvelő vagyok az Adidasnál. I'm an accountant at Adidas. 5 évvel ezelőtt alapítottam a cégemet. I founded my company 5 years ago. 6 éve dolgozok egyéni vállalkozóként. I have been working as a freelancer for 6 years. So egyéni vállalkozó, it's a bit weird. It's hard to translate some things because there are legal things, legal differences in between different countries like the US. Let's compare the US and Hungary. So egyéni vállalkozó is a legal term for tax-wise in Hungary. So egyéni vállalkozó, usually these people are freelancers, but it can also be translated to self-employed, and self-employed person can be somebody who, in English, it can be somebody who has his own company. But it's different. In Hungary, egyéni vállalkozó wouldn't have a company. He is a freelancer, and so it's different. If you want to say you have your own company, you would actually say, van egy cégem, or I'm an entrepreneur, vállalkozó vagyok, and so on. Yeah? So egyéni, if you say egyéni vállalkozó vagyok, it means more like I'm freelancer, but yeah, self-employed, if you not mean that you are have a company, yeah? So you are a type of self-employed person who doesn't have a company, just working as himself, yeah? Taking projects. Anyways, magánvállalkozó vagyok, it means the same thing, like private entrepreneur, literally, but it shouldn't be, you shouldn't translate that way. It means egyéni vállalkozó. Back then they called this was the legal term for egyéni vállalkozós, but now we just say egyéni vállalkozó. Yeah? But many people in colloquially, when they speak, they still say magánvállalkozó. So both of them good, but legally magánvállalkozó doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Van egy saját cégem. I have my own company. Cég is company, and saját is own. I have my own company. Van egy saját vállalkozásom. I have my own business. Yeah? Slight differences, but I would say company is something a bit bigger for me. I mean, you can say small company, but for that one, maybe I would just use vállalkozás, business. And if you have Adidas or Tesco or something like that, maybe I would say cég. But there isn't any rule. Maybe you have a small business and you will say cég, so that's also okay. It's just my preference. Okay, question. Hol dolgozol? Where do you work? So this one can be about location, yeah, but can be also about the company, yeah? It depends. If the person who's asked, so maybe somebody asked me, hol dolgozol, where do you work? Maybe I will be not sure what he means, so I can ask back, or just telling the company, and and the questioner say, the interviewer, no, I meant the actual location, yeah? But you need to know it from context. You can also say more specifically, melyik cégnél dolgozol? Which company do you work at? Yeah? The formal way, hol dolgozik? Melyik cégnél dolgozik? And the short to the point answer, a Siemensnél, a Vodafone-nál, az Adidasnál. Yeah? So at Siemens, at Vodafone, at Adidas. So if you ask this one, so you need to answer differently. So if you ask hol dolgozol, and you want to say I'm a self-employed, you will start something like no, and we would say sehol, because hol requires this one. We will say different things for the other question, yeah? So hol dolgozol? Sehol. Egyéni vállalkozó vagyok. Nowhere, I'm self-employed or I'm a freelancer. Sehol, saját cégem van. Nowhere, I have my own company. Hol dolgozol? Sehol, saját vállalkozásom van. Nowhere, I have my own business, yeah? And if somebody asks, melyik cégnél dolgozol, which company do you work at? I would say, nem vagyok alkalmazott, egyéni vállalkozó vagyok. So I'm not an employee, I'm self-employed. Nem vagyok alkalmazott, saját cégem van. I'm not an employee, I have my own company. Nem vagyok alkalmazott, saját vállalkozásom van. I'm not an employee, I have my own business. Yeah? Okay, different statements about the actual location. Az Astoriánál dolgozok. I work at Astoria. A Blaha Lujza térnél dolgozok. I work at Blaha Lujza Square. A parlament közelében. I forgot actually the verb. Dolgozok, yeah. And I will make this a bit smaller so it can fit. Okay. A parlament közelében dolgozok. I work close to the parliament. A 6. kerületben dolgozok. I work in the 6th district. Yeah? And the question would be, hol dolgozol? We already seen this question when we are want to know more about the company that the other person is working at, yeah? But it's also good for location. It's just, you need to know about context, or you need to ask back. Or you can be specifically asked about it. Hol van a munkahelyed? Where is your workplace? So munkahely is workplace. Or helyileg hol dolgozol? Where do you work location-wise? I'm not sure if you would say it in English like this, but helyileg it would be like location-wise. So from a location point of view, where do you work? Yeah. And the formal way, hol dolgozik? Hol van a munkahelye? Helyileg hol dolgozik? Yeah? And the short to the point answer, you would say az Astoriánál, at Astoria. This is a big metro station in Budapest. A Blaha Lujza térnél, at Blaha Lujza Square. A parlament közelében, close to the parliament. A 6. kerületben, in the 6th district. Yeah, in English like that. Other statements. A munkahelyem 10 percre van a lakásomtól gyalog. My workplace is 10 minutes away from my home on foot. A munkahelyem 1 órára van a lakásomtól kocsival. My workplace is 1 hour from my home by car. A munkahelyem fél órára van a lakásomtól BKV-val. My workplace is half an hour from my apartment by BKV. Yeah? So this last one can only be used if you live in Budapest, yeah? Because the Budapest Transportation Company is BKV. We used to call it BKV, now it's BKK, but I still call it BKV because that's what I'm used to. Yeah, but BKK or BKV both good, and people mean the Budapest Transportation Company by that. A munkahelyem 3/4 órára van a lakásomtól tömegközlekedéssel. So tömegközlekedés is public transportation. So if you don't live in Budapest but you use public transportation, you use this sentence. Obviously you need to choose the right time measurement. In English you don't really speak like that 3/4 of an hour, I think. But in Hungarian we like to speak like that. So 3/4 is 3/4 and óra is hour, yeah? So we say that, or here half an hour, fél órára van, so half an hour away, and so on. A munkahelyem 15 percre van a lakásomtól busszal. My workplace is 15 minutes from my apartment by bus, yeah? So basically, whatever transportation means you use, means of transportation you use, you will use the with, yeah? So val. So, and if you remember, it assimilates. Busszal, not buszval, but busszal. A munkahelyem 4 órára van a lakásomtól villamossal. My workplace is quarter of an hour from my apartment by tram, 15 minutes. Yeah? Question. Milyen messze laksz a munkahelyettől? How far do you live from work? Or formal way, milyen messze lakik a munkahelyétől? How far do you live from work? I'm starting to feel my throat. It's going away. My voice is going away. And I have lessons today. No worries. Everything for you guys. Gyalog 10 percre. So the short to the point answer, gyalog 10 percre. 10 minutes on foot. Yeah? You need to use this suffix. So if they asking milyen messze, you need to use suffixes to show away. Kind of like, so 10 minutes away on foot. Yeah? So gyalog 10 percre, kocsival 1 órára, an hour by car, BKV-val fél órára, half an hour by BKV, tömegközlekedéssel 3/4 órára, 3/4 of an hour by public transport, busszal 15 percre, 15 minutes by bus, villamossal 4 órára, quarter of an hour by tram, and other statements when you just want to say, okay, how do you go to work without any questions. Gyalog járok munkába. I walk to work. Biciklivel járok munkába. I cycle to work. Kocsival járok munkába. I drive to work. BKV-val járok munkába. I take the BKW to work. Tömegközlekedéssel járok munkába. I take public transport to work. Busszal járok munkába. I take the bus to work. Villamossal járok munkába. I take the tram to work. Vonattal járok munkába. I travel to work by train. By the way, I just need to check because, yeah, I still have 1 hour until my next lesson. I wasn't sure. It's a long video. The question, informal. Mivel jársz munkába? How do you get to work? Formal. Mivel jár munkába? How do you get to work? And the short to the points answer, gyalog járok, I go on foot, biciklivel, by bicycle, we literally say with, yeah? Kocsival, by car, BKV-val, by BKV, tömegközlekedéssel, by public transport, busszal, by bus, villamossal, by tram, vonattal, by train. And maybe I already told you many times, but it's really important. If they ask you a specific question, the shorter the better. Yeah, you shouldn't say the verb or something else if that isn't necessary. Yeah, when they ask you. When you say a monologue, you should. Okay, 7th point, családi állapot. We are almost, not almost finished. We have the 8th, 9th, 10th point and the self-introduction, the whole full one, but we are getting close. Family status. Van egy gyerekem. I have a kid. Van 2 gyerekem. I have 2 kids. Nincs gyerekem. I don't have kids. Nincsenek gyerekeim. I don't have kids. So whenever you use one, then when you want to negate it, you will use nincs. And when you say vannak, then you would say nincsenek. Yeah. So in this case, you use several kids, yeah, so you say nincsenek, and it's kind of arbitrary, so why would you say nincs gyerekem or nincsenek gyerekeim? It doesn't really matter. So basically maybe you think like I don't even have one or more, but if it's 0, it doesn't matter if it's plural or singular. For some reason we can say both ways. So nincs gyerekem, nincsenek gyerekeim, both of them means I don't have kids, yeah. Van egy fiam, I have a son. Van egy lányom, I have a daughter. Van egy fiam és egy lányom, I have a son and a daughter. So I already elaborated this on one of my Patreon posts, and I also think I mentioned it maybe in a YouTube video. But if you speak about your son and daughter, we don't really have a separate word for that, like son and daughter. We just say my boy and my girl, yeah? So you use a possessive and also the word boy and girl, yeah? So you say van egy fiam és egy lányom, yeah? I definitely have a Patreon post about it, and I made a YouTube shadowing. There are some fruit flies here, muslica. I'm struggling with them nowadays. Anyways, so in the YouTube video, I just made a shadowing video where I introduced all the family members. You can check it out. I don't think I talked about how to create daughter and son. Maybe in a text I wrote it down, but definitely there's a Patreon post about it if you are a member. Okay, did I say this? Van két fiam, I have 2 sons. Then the question would be, van gyereked? Do you have a kid? Vannak gyerekeid? Do you have kids? Just like I said, both of them good. I don't know, sometimes I use this or that. Maybe I would use the version when I just ask about one kid, or in general just kid, when I'm more inclined to just have one kid, and maybe people who imagine that they want more kids, they wish that when they ask the other person also have more kids, but I don't think there isn't too much logic behind it. Sometimes you just use this, sometimes you just use the other one. The only important thing you remember that when they ask this way, you need to answer specifically this and not this. We will see. Okay, the formal way is van gyereked? Do you have a kid? Vannak gyerekeid? Do you have kids? And you will see, so nincs gyerekem, I don't have kids, it will be the answer for one. So van gyereke? Vagy van gyereke? Nincs gyerekem. And if they ask, vannak gyerekei? Nincsenek gyerekeim, I don't have kids. Yeah? And you can also say, igen, 3 gyerekem van. Egy fiú és 2 lány. Yes, I have 3 kids, 1 boy and a girl, and 2 girls. Igen, van egy fiam. Yes, I have a son. Igen, van egy lányom. Yes, I have a daughter. Igen, van egy fiam és egy lányom. Yes, I have a son and a daughter. Igen, van 2 fiam. Yes, I have 2 sons. Yeah? Statements about your marital status and things like that. Házas vagyok. I'm married. Nős vagyok. I'm married. Only a man can say this. This is not really PC, I know, but we have separate words for different genders. So nős vagyok, I'm married, so basically I'm womanized, if you really literally want to translate this. And you can also say férjezett vagyok, I'm married. Only a woman can say this, yeah? Now, what you need to see that férjezett is a bit old-fashioned, and not old-fashioned, more like official. So in the citizenship interview, if they ask about your marital status, this is fine. But if you are in a party and you just speak to people, I would just say házas vagyok, yeah? Or maybe van egy férjem, I have a husband, van egy feleségem, I have a wife, yeah? Nős is kind of casual, so it's both good in a citizenship interview and the party, yeah? So you have different way to describe these things. You can also say, van egy barátnőm, I have a girlfriend, van egy barátom, I have a boyfriend, yeah? Or if you want to be a bit more specific, you can say, van egy francia barátnőm, I have a French girlfriend. Van egy magyar barátom, I have a Hungarian boyfriend. Or you can also say it with husband and so on. So, van egy spanyol feleségem, I have a Spanish wife and so on. Kapcsolatban vagyok. I'm in a relationship. Elváltam. I'm divorced. Válófélben vagyok. I'm in the middle of a divorce. Yeah? So this is good, useful. And hopefully you will don't need to use it, but I don't think, usually grammar books and language books show this, but not really this one. So válófélben vagyok. I'm in the middle of divorce. Egyedülálló vagyok. I'm single, or we also have a borrowed English word. I mean, it's in the Hungarian language for a long time, but singly vagyok, I'm single, the same thing. Özvegy vagyok, I'm a widow. And, oh yeah, so later we will see something. I wanted to say how to say my condolences, but I wrote it down at the short answers, so we will see. Okay. So here the question, informal, formal, van családod, or the formal would be van családja, do you have a family? And you can answer like nincs, or igen, van egy actually it would be nicer, nem, nincs, like I told you. So I just broke my rule and didn't like, no I don't have. So, no I don't, yeah? So nem, nincs. Igen, van egy feleségem és egy gyerekem. Yes, I have a wife and a kid. Igen, házas vagyok. I didn't write anything. Yes, I'm married. Yeah. Igen, nős vagyok. Yes, I'm married. Only a man can say this. I told you. Igen, férjezett vagyok. Yes, I'm married. Only a woman can say this. Nem, elváltam. No, I'm divorced. Divorced. Sorry, guys. Van feleséged? Van felesége? So the first versions are the informal ones, and then the second versions are the formal ones. Do you have a wife? Van férjed? Van férje? Do you have a husband? Van barátnőd? Van barátnője? Do you have a girlfriend? Van barátod? Van barátja? Do you have a boyfriend? Nem, nincs. No, I don't have one. Yeah. Or igen, van egy férjem, igen, van egy feleségem, igen, van egy barátnőm, igen, van egy barátom. Yes, so yes, I have a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. So the other statements are not really asked in a conversation, but if you, for some reason, want to specifically ask about it, like kapcsolatban vagy, are you in a relationship? Igen, nem. Yes, no. Elváltál? Are you divorced? Igen. Yes, nem. Házas vagyok. No, I'm married. Nem, sosem voltam házas. No, I've never been married. Válófélben vagy? Are you in the middle of a divorce? Igen, nem. Yes, no. Egyedülálló vagy? This is again a yes or no question. Are you single? Igen, or nem. Van egy feleségem, férjem, barátnőm, barátom. So yes, or you can say no. I have a wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend. Yeah? Single vagy? Are you single? Same answers, just like above. Özvegy vagy? Are you a widow? Igen, or nem, yes and no. And if somebody tells you that they are a widow, I would say my condolences, őszinte részvétem. Yeah? Okay, then if you want to speak about your siblings, van egy testvérem. I have a sibling. In English you don't really use sibling as a word too much, but we use. Yeah? So van egy testvérem, and we distinguish between siblings. Like I said, I have a video about family members. You can look it up, and if I don't forget, I put it in the description, but I tell you this one. So we distinguish younger brothers, younger sisters, and older brothers, older sisters. I always have a preference one. So if I say something, then a reference point is myself, yeah? So my younger and my older sister, and my younger and then older brothers, yeah? So you can say, van két testvérem, egy öcsém és egy húgom. I have two siblings, a younger brother and a younger sister. So öcs is younger brother and húg is younger sister. Van két fiú testvérem, egy öcsém és egy bátyám. I have two male siblings. So I wouldn't say brothers because if you choose either one of them, sometimes in books they do it, but if you choose either one of them, it means that all of them are older, or all of them are younger. Yeah? So that's why I like this form. Van két fiú testvérem, I have two male siblings. Egy öcsém, a younger brother, and an older brother és egy bátyám. Yeah? Van két lánytestvérem, egy húgom és egy nővérem. I have two female siblings, a younger sister and an older sister. And actually I already provided this video that I talked so much about. So family members in Hungarian shadowing part 5. This is a good, there are other shadowing videos for pronunciation, but those are not about family members. Okay, anyways, so the question would be like, van testvéred? Do you have a sibling? Vannak testvéreid? Do you have siblings? The formal way is, van testvére? Vannak testvérei? And the short to the point answers, you say nincs. Nincs. Actually, I would say like nem, nincs, and nem, nincsenek. So no, I don't have, and no, I don't have. Like I said, it's nicer. Így van. And okay, it's very good. Szóval, igen, egy öcsém és egy húgom. Yes, a younger brother and a younger sister. Igen, egy öcsém és egy bátyám. Yes, a younger brother and an older brother. Igen, egy húgom és egy nővérem. Yes, a younger sister and an older sister. Yeah? Then, your statements, you want to talk about your family members. tell about their names, yeah? A fiamat Józsinak hívják. My son's name is Józsi. Literally it means my son is called Józsi. Yeah? A lányomat Katának hívják. My daughter's name is Kata. Az apukámat Viktornak hívják. My father's name is Viktor. Az anyukámat Máriának hívják. My mother's name is Mária. And if you want to put more names in one sentence, az apukámat Jánosnak, az anyukámat pedig Bettynek hívják. My father's name is János, whereas my mother's name is Betty. So this pedig is interesting. If you try to learn to use it, you will sound much more Hungarian. So it's useful. It's hard to translate. I like to translate it as whereas, but you can also just say an and. It has many usages, but a very simple way to use it when you have a list and you list things and you put it before the last one. So you want to say that my father is an accountant, my mother is a lawyer, whereas my older brother is a fisherman. Yeah? So az apukám egy könyvelő, az anyukám egy ügyvéd, a bátyám pedig horgász or halász. Yeah? So when you just put it in front of the last one. Yeah? So you can see, az apukámat Jánosnak, az anyukámat pedig Bettynek hívják. My father's name is János, whereas my mother's name is Betty. Basically it's an and that you put before the last item. Yeah? A fiamat Zsoltnak hívják, a lányomat pedig Eszternek. My son's name is Zsolt, whereas my daughter's is Esther. I think it's very good to use this, because if you use this, you will strike as somebody who knows the language, if you use it well, yeah? Just practice. Maybe you can learn by heart a sentence like this, if you know that you will speak about your brothers or siblings or parents or anything, yeah? Or your kids. Yeah? A fiamat Gábornak hívják, a fiatalabbik lányomat Emesének, az idősebbiket pedig Petrának. So my son's name is Gábor, my younger daughter's name is Emese, whereas the older one's is Petra. Yeah. So again, I use for the last one pedig. Okay, and a fiatalabbik is the younger one, and az idősebbik is the older one. Yeah. Okay, hogy hívják? And the question will be, hogy hívják a fiadat? What's your son's name? Hogy hívják a lányodat? Hogy hívják a barátnődet? Hogy hívják a barátodat? Hogy hívják a feleségedet? Hogy hívják a férjedet? Hogy hívják a szüleidet? What's your parents' name? That's the last one. And the formula would be, hogy hívják a fiát? Hogy hívják a lányát? Hogy hívják a barátnőjét? Hogy hívják a barátját? Hogy hívják a feleségét? Hogy hívják a férjét? Hogy hívják a szüleit? And short to the point answer, I would just say the name Józsi, Kata, or if it's a full name, you can say like Kovács János, yeah, and that's it, yeah. Or you can say, if they're asking about the parents, yeah, or more people, then you need to say full sentence. Az apukámat Jánosnak, az anyukámat pedig Bettynek, yeah. My father is János, whereas my mother's is Betty. But you can see that I didn't use the verb because it was already in the question, yeah? So even though it's a kind of a long sentence, it's not as long as it could be. A fiamat Zsoltnak, a lányomat pedig Eszternek. My son is Zsolt, whereas my daughter is Esther. A fiamat Gábornak, a fiatalabbik lányomat Emesének, az idősebbiket pedig Petrának. My son is Gábor, my younger daughter is Emese, whereas the older one is Petra. Okay, other statements. A fiam 7 éves. My son is 7 years old. A fiam 9 éves, a lányom pedig 12. You see, we used again this pedig. My son is 9 years old, whereas my daughter is 12. Az apukám 50 éves, az anyukám pedig 42. My father is 50 years old, whereas my mother is 42. Az apukám és az anyukám is 55 éves. Both my father and my mother are 55. And the question, hány éves a fiad? How old is your son? Hány évesek a gyerekeid? How old are your children? Hány évesek a szüleid? How old are your parents? And I didn't provide all of because now hopefully you know how to say your daughter and your mother and your father, and you don't say hány éves a fiad, you will say hány éves a lányod, and so on. Yeah? So formally, hány éves a fia? Hány évesek a szülei? Bocsánat, and I skipped one. Hány évesek a gyerekei? I'm getting tired. And my voice is going away. So, the short to the point answer, 7. A fiam 9, a lányom pedig 12. My son is 9, whereas my daughter is 12. Az apukám 50, az anyukám pedig 42. My father is 50, whereas my mother is 42. Az apukám és az anyukám is 55. My father and my mother are both 55. Or you can say, mind a ketten 55 évesek. Both of them are 55. We get to the leisure time, hobbies, szabadidő, hobbik. Point 8, 8-as pont, statements. These are very simple things. Szeretek futni. I like to run. Szeretek kirándulni. I like to hike. Szeretek sétálni. I like to walk. Szeretek focizni. I like to play football. You can also list things. Szeretek úszni, biciklizni. I like to swim, to cycle. Szeretek edzeni. I like to exercise. Szeretek olvasni. I like to read. Szeretek filmeket nézni. I like to watch movies. Szeretek filmezni. I like to watch movies. Many times, if you know the grammar, there are these Zik verbs. And many times we create from nouns, we create verbs from nouns. Yeah? So for example, you can say filmeket nézni, to literally watch movies, or we create it from film, filmezik, so filmezek, I'm watching movies, I can say that. And the same with sorozatozik. Szeretek sorozatozni. I like to watch series. Szeretek moziba járni. I like to go to the movies. Szeretek főzni. I like to cook. Szeretek utazni. I like to travel. Szeretek magyarul tanulni. I hope you do. I like to learn Hungarian. Szeretek új dolgokat tanulni. I like to learn new things. A szabadidőmben szeretek önéletrajzokat olvasni. I like to read autobiographies in my free time. Yeah? So a szabadidőmben. So szabad is free, and idő is time, and a szabadidőmben in my free time. Yeah? A szabadidőmben szeretek étterembe járni. I like to go to restaurants in my free time. Questions, what to ask. So informal, mit szeretsz csinálni a szabadidődben? What do you like to do in your free time? Formally, mit szeret csinálni a szabad idejében? So this is I think that maybe this is the first question when we need to modify two things when we go from informal to formal. So first we modify the verb szeretsz to szeret, but also the possessive ending. So szabad időd is your free time. Szabad ideje is your free time formally, or her or his free time, yeah? If you know, like I told you, when you speak to somebody too formally, you will speak like as if it was a third person, he, she, it, yeah? I just wanted to draw your attention. So we will use the statements as short answers as well. So we already see it here. I'm not going to repeat it. You can just rewind it if you want it. Statements. So we have this weird auxiliary verb or modal verb, szoktam, which means I regularly do something. In English, it would be basically present tense. If you saw I run in the park, I mean, it can mean at the moment, but usually I am running in the park. But if you say I run or other things in present tense, it could mean some regularity, yeah? Anyways, it's Hungarians like to overdo this, and we like to say, I usually run in the park, so we feel the temptation to add this usually, while it would be enough just to say present simple grammatical form in English to describe this. And we use this thing, szoktam, a lot. Yeah? So szokás means habit, but that's a noun. And basically, we conjugate this thing as if it were a past tense conjugation. And I just say, szoktam futni, I run, I usually run. So I go running regularly. It's kind of like meaning that, yeah? Anyways, szoktam futni, I run, or I go running usually, regularly. Szoktam kirándulni, I hike. Szoktam sétálni, I take walks. Szoktam focizni, I play football. Szoktam úszni, biciklizni, I swim, cycle. Szoktam edzeni. I exercise. Szoktam olvasni. I read. So like, again, I'm not sure if you get what I said. So in English, you would say, what do you do in your free time? And you would just say, I read. You don't really need to put anything else. We would understand that it's a regular thing in that case. And in Hungarian, we like to use this szoktam. So szoktam olvasni. Szoktam filmeket nézni. I watch movies. Szoktam filmezni. I watch movies. Szoktam sorozatozni. I watch series. Szoktam moziba járni. I go to the movies. Szoktam főzni. I cook. Szoktam magyarul tanulni. I learn Hungarian. A szabadidőmben önéletrajzokat szoktam olvasni. I read autobiographies in my free time. A szabadidőmben étterembe szoktam járni. I go to restaurants in my free time. How do you ask about this? So mit szoktál csinálni a szabadidődben? Again, we use this, but now it's conjugated for you. So what do you usually do or regularly do? Mit szokott csinálni a szabadidejében? What do you do in your free time formally? And in this case, I would just answer it with the normal verb conjugation present tense. Futok, kirándulok, sétálok, focizok, úszok, biciklizek, edzek, olvasok, filmeket nézek, filmezek, sorozatozok, moziba járok, főzök, magyarul tanulok, önéletrajzokat olvasok, étterembe járok. Yeah? And you can also ask something else. So one hobby. Do you have a hobby? Formal, one hobby. Same thing. And you can say igen. And you can basically answer it with the three things that we learned. So either with just present tense conjugation, I run, igen, futok, or you can use this modal verb or auxiliary verb that describes regularity. Igen, futni szoktam. In this case you use, of course, the infinitive, futni, or igen, szeretek futni. Yes, I love to run. Yeah? All of them means basically the same thing. Yeah? Okay. You can also ask, mi a hobby? So what is your previous question is what do you have a hobby? Now it's the question, mi a hobby? What is your hobby? Mi a hobbija? What is your hobby? So here again, you can start to use verbs and so on, but I want to show you another way to answer this. So you can use nouns, yeah? So it would be like a noun. These are all nouns. Futás, running. So mi a hobbija? Futás, kirándulás, sétálás, foci, úszás, biciklizés, edzés, olvasás, filmnézés, filmezés, sorozatozás, moziba járás, főzés, magyar tanulás, önéletrajzolvasás, étterembe járás. Other statements. Okay, so if we want to say how many times a week or in a particular time period we do something, so we have this thing like hetente or heti, which means kind of like per week or weekly. Yeah. So if you say hetente egyszer, it means once a week. And heti egyszer means the same thing, or you can say minden héten egyszer. So egyszer is once, and minden is every. So on every week, or in English you just say every week without the on version. So I go to the hairdresser every week. Minden héten egyszer. De minden héten fodrászhoz megyek. I go to the hairdresser every week. Or minden héten egyszer fodrászhoz megyek. I go to the hairdresser once every week. That's quite frequent. That's too much. Too often. Havonta kétszer. So we can also do it with a month. Yeah. And by the way, it's not week, but month. Yeah. So havonta kétszer, or havi kétszer, minden hónapban kétszer. Twice a month, yeah. So it's like twice every month. This one, yeah. So the sorcerer suffix means times. So if you want to say once, it means egyszer. If you want to say twice, you will say kétszer. If you want to say thrice, háromszor, or four times, négyszer, ötször, and so on. So if you know the numbers and you know vowel harmony, you can choose between all these three. If don't, you need to check on vowel harmony, yeah? And then you will know how to choose which one to use, yeah? So let's say some sentences. Hetente kétszer konditerembe járok. I go to the gym twice a week. Yeah? Hetente egyszer focizni járok a barátaimmal. I play football with my friends once a week. Yeah? I want to show you another thing. So if you want to say on Mondays, on Tuesdays, so something like this. Keddenként magyar órám van. I have Hungarian lessons on Tuesdays. Yeah, so we will use this structure. So we would say hétfőnként on Mondays, keddenként on Tuesdays, szerdánként on Wednesdays, csütörtökönként on Thursdays, péntekenként on Fridays, szombatonként on Saturdays, and vasárnaponként on Sundays. Okay, so péntekenként bulizni járok a haverjaimmal. I go out partying with my friends on Fridays. So haver, maybe I could say buddies. It's maybe a bit better. So your haver is more like a buddy, yeah? So barát is a closer friend or friend, and buddy would be like a haver, yeah? By the way, friends was okay because in English I've seen that in the US and UK people use this word friend much more people. So what we would call an acquaintance or a buddy, many times Americans just say friend, even they are not friends. So it depends how you think of these. Yeah? Okay, so hétfőnként és szerdánként zongoráckém van. I have piano lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays. And you can also say things like minden hétfőn, minden kedden, so every Monday, every Tuesday, minden szerdán, every Wednesday, minden csütörtökön, every Thursday, minden pénteken, every Friday, and minden szombaton, every Saturday. But for some reason, we will not use a suffix on Sunday, yeah? So we will say minden vasárnap, on every Sunday, yeah? So, and in English you don't say this on. Actually, I just put it there for that one. That's weird. Okay, so, but these on and on suffix usually means on in English, yeah? Minden hétfőn meglátogatom a nagymamámat. I visit my grandmother every Monday. Minden csütörtökön elmegyek sétálni a Városligetbe. This is a big park in Budapest. I go for a walk in Városliget every Thursday. The next one is a different structure. I just want to show you that, don't be surprised that it's something else. So minden hónap első szombatján társas játékozunk a barátaimmal. So on the first Saturday of every month, I play board games with my friends. It's a bit more advanced thing. So basically what you do is that you need to know the possessive structures, because szombat, so the Saturday of every month, so minden hónap szombat, I would say on the first Saturday of every month, minden hónap első szombatján. You need to know some possessive structures and you would understand the structure is. I just wanted to show if you are a bit more advanced, you can do things like this. Or another example for this one. Minden hónap utolsó vasárnapján levágom a füvet. On the last Sunday on every month, I mow the lawn. Did I pronounce it well? I always struggle with this one, not just this one. Okay, 9th point, we are getting closer to the end. Beszélt nyelvek, spoken languages. Beszélek angolul, I speak English. Beszélek magyarul, I speak Hungarian. Beszélek németül, I speak German. Beszélek spanyolul és olaszul, I speak Spanish and Italian. Nem beszélek magyarul, I don't speak Hungarian. Nem beszélek angolul, I don't speak English. Beszélek egy kicsit japánul, I speak a little Japanese. By the way, I get these complaints from my students, not about me, about Hungarians in Budapest, that they try to speak Hungarian with them, but when they start and the Hungarian hears the accent, they just switch to English. It's a problem in Budapest. In Budapest, more people speak English as opposed to the countryside, so you can try to visit the countryside. And also that's just the way it is. They want to be quick and they want to be helpful, friendly. But if you want to lie, you can just say, I don't speak English and I don't speak German. So nem beszélek se angol, so I speak neither English, so se is neither. So nem beszélek se angolul, se németül. Yeah? So I speak neither English nor German. And in this way, they will not know your language. Maybe they speak Spanish, so you can also add that one. So és spanyolul se. And they will be forced to speak with you in Hungarian. But if they are busy, don't mess with them. So if they are a waiter and they need to get to the next customer, let them speak English. But this is maybe a method to speak with them in Hungarian if you want to. Yeah? And where is it? Yes, so beszélek angolul és egy kicsit kínaiul. I speak English and a little Chinese. Folyékonyan beszélek franciául. I speak French fluently. Or a really long sentence. Magyarul anyanyelvi szinten, angolul felsőfokon, németül középszinten, és portugálul alapfokon beszélek. És értek egy picit horvátul is. So it means I speak Hungarian at a native level, anyanyelvi szinten, English at an advanced level, felsőfokon, German at an intermediate level, középszinten, or középfokon, I just spiced it up a bit, and Portuguese at a basic level, alapfokon. Yeah, and I also understand a bit of Croatian. És értek egy picit horvátul is. Yeah? Oké, tanultam franciául, beszélni nem tudok, de értem, amit mondanak. This is a typical thing people will say. I studied French, I cannot speak, but I understand what is said. Yeah? Questions, milyen nyelveken beszélsz? What languages do you speak? Or formally, milyen nyelveken beszél? What languages do you speak? And the short to the point answers, nem beszélek nyelveket. I don't speak languages. Or you can just say the language without any suffix. Milyen nyelveket beszélsz? Angol, magyar, spanyol, olasz, német, japán, kínai. Yeah? So English, Hungarian, Spanish, Italian, German, Japanese, Chinese. And you can add details as well. Angolul folyékonyan, in English fluently. So this is an answer. Yeah? So this is not a full statement. Németül középfokon, kínaiul pedig alapfokon. So in German, I'll just say like this. In German at an intermediate level, and in Chinese at a basic level. Beszélek egy kicsit japánul. I speak a little Japanese. So in this case, if I want to say this, I need to say a full sentence. Yeah. Okay. Finally, the last point, and then we have the full story, the full introduction. Háziállatok, pets. Van egy macskám. I have a dog. No, that was wrong. I'm getting tired, I told you. So van egy kutyám, I have a dog. Van egy macskám, I have a cat. Van egy kutyám és két macskám. I have a dog and two cats. Van két hörcsögöm. I have two hamsters. Questions. Van házi állatod? Do you have a pet? Vannak házi állataid? Do you have pets? And the formal way, van házi állata? Do you have a pet? Vannak házi állatai? Do you have pets? And short to the point answer, like I said, nem, nincs, and nem, nincsenek, yeah. So I didn't provide the answer here, but no, I don't have one. I don't have one, yeah. And the same thing here. I would just say no, I don't. Yeah. Okay, so and just I already told you. So the opposite of vannak is nincsenek, and the opposite of van is nincs. So if the question is van házi állatod, you should say nem nincs. If the question is vannak házi állataid, you should say nem nincsenek. Yeah, and yeah, I don't. Okay. Then you can say igen, van egy kutyám. Yes, I have a dog. Igen, van egy macskám. Yes, I have a cat. Igen, van egy kutyám és két macskám. Yes, I have a dog and two cats. Igen, van két hörcsögöm. Yes, I have two hamsters. Yeah? You can also describe them, so tell some stuff about them. A kutyámat Bundásnak hívják. My dog's name is Bundás. Yeah? Literally, my dog is called Bundás. A kutyámat Bodrinak hívják, a macskáimat pedig Cirmosnak és Maszatnak. My dog's name is Bodri, and my cat's name are Cirmos and Maszat. Yeah? You see, I used again pedig, I meant it about dog, whereas my cats are. Yeah? The question, hogy hívják a háziállataidat? What are your pets' names? Hogy hívják a kutyádat? What is your dog's name? Hogy hívják a macskádat? What is your cat's name? And the formal way would be, hogy hívják a háziállatait? Hogy hívják a kutyáját? Hogy hívják a macskáját? And the short to the point answer, just the name, Bundás, yeah? Bunda is kind of like animal fur or something like that, so furry it would be, but this is a typical dog name. By the way, all these Bodri and Cirmos and Massat are all typical dog and cat names. A kutyámat Bodrinak, a macskáimat pedig Cirmosnak és Massatnak. My dogs is Bodri and my cats are Cirmos and Massat. Statements about their age. A kutyám 6 éves. My dog is 6 years old. A macskám 10 éves. My cat is 10 years old. And how do you ask about it? Hány éves a kutyád? How old is your dog? Hány éves a macskád? How old is your cat? A formal way, hány éves a kutyája? How old is your dog? Hány éves a macskája? And short to the point answers, 6, 10, 6, 10, and so on. So basically you just answer it. Statements. Mely helyről hoztuk? We brought him from a shelter. Az utcán találtuk. We found him on the street. Tenyésztőtől hoztuk. We brought him from a breeder. So tenyészt is the verb to breed, and tenyésztő is breeder. Menhely is the shelter, yeah. We mainly use it for like animal shelter. If it's for humans, I think we would say menedék or something else, yeah. So, but if you mean like an animal shelter where you can take a dog from, we would say menhely, yeah. Otherwise, menedék is like when you looking for shelter in the nature, yeah. So menedék. Totally off topic. I don't know why did you tell that. Why did I tell you that? So, question: honnan hoztátok? Where did you get him from? Or formally, honnan hozták? Where did you get him from? Or her, of course. And the short to the point answer: a menhelyről, from a shelter, from the shelter. Yeah. So. Or you can say also egy menhelyről, from a shelter, it depends. Yeah? Az utcán találtuk, we found him on the street, egy tenyésztőtől, from a breeder. Yeah? And the last statement, then we get to the full introduction. Német juhász, German Shepherd. Yeah, so juhász is Shepherd, német is German. Or if you want to say purebred German Shepherd, fajtiszta német juhász. Or you can say a mix, you know, like maybe German Shepherd and Terrier or something, some other breed. So keverék, a mix. Bernát hegyi és Tacskó keverék. A Saint Bernard and the Dachshund mix. And the question would be, milyen fajta? So this is the informal. So both of them informal and formally, because you ask about him, her, so basically you don't address specifically the person you are asking, so it will be the same as informal and formal, yeah? So, milyen fajta, what breed is it? And it will be the same as the statements, yeah? Now, finally, I hope you are still with me. We will finish soon. I just read out loud the full introduction, once in Hungarian, and then I will show you the full introduction with English translation. So you can see together how does it look like, yeah? Without further ado, egy teljes bemutatkozás. Varga Zoltán vagyok. 1980. március 16-án születtem Győrben. 44 éves vagyok. Magyar-belga kettős állampolgár vagyok. Az anyukám magyar, az apukám pedig belga. Magyarul és franciául anyanyelvi szinten, angolul pedig felsőfokon beszélek. Antwerpenben nőttem fel. Jelenleg Párizsban élek, 5 éve költöztem ide. A Diada Lévtől nem messze lakok. Egy társasházban bérlek egy lakást. A munkahelyem az Eiffel-toronynál van, tömegközlekedéssel 20 percre a lakásomtól. A vendéglátóiparban dolgozok felszolgálóként. A Café Bonjourban dolgozok. Budapesten jártam egyetemre, ahol turizmus és vendéglátást tanultam a BGF-en. 4 évet jártam oda, és BSc-t végeztem. Van egy feleségem és 2 gyerekem, egy fiú és egy lány. A feleségemet Chloe-nak, a fiamat Jean-Luc Picardnak, a lányomat pedig Erzsinek hívják. A feleségem velem egyidős, Jean-Luc 5 éves, Erzsi pedig 3. Jean-Luc hajós kapitány akar lenni, ha majd nagy lesz, Erzsi pedig takarítónő. Van 4 testvérem is, egy öcsém, egy húgom, egy nővérem és egy bátyám. Hetente 4-szer járok konditerembe. Ha van egy kis szabadidőm, akkor vagy sorozatozok, vagy könyvet olvasok. Néha szoktam kirándulni is, és nyáron nagyon szeretek a parkban focizni. Volt egy macskám, de 2 éve elhunyt. Jelenleg nincs háziállatom. Okay, so that was the full introduction, and this is how it looks like together. And now we will quickly go through the translation, and I will let you go, and you can practice or just take a walk or anything, just to get some movement in your day. Angol fordítással, with English translation. So Varga Zoltán vagyok, I'm Zoltán Varga. 1980. március 16-án születtem Győrben. I was born on March 16, 1918 Győr. 44 éves vagyok. I'm 44 years old. Magyar-belga kettős állampolgár vagyok. I'm a dual citizen of Hungary and Belgium. Yeah? So we use here citizenship, so nationalities. So magyar is Hungarian and belga is Belgium. Yeah? So Belgian. Az anyukám magyar, az apukám pedig belga. My mother is Hungarian and my father is Belgian. Magyarul és franciául anyanyelvi szinten, angolul pedig felsőfokon beszélek. I speak Hungarian and French at a native level and English at an advanced level. Antwerpenben nőttem fel. I grew up in Antwerp. Jelenleg Párizsban élek. I currently live in Paris. Jelenleg is currently. 5 éve költöztem ide. I moved here 5 years ago. A Diada Leaf-től nem messze lakok. So we have a name for the Arc de Triomphe. So I live not far from the Arc de Triomphe. I don't know French, sorry. Egy társasházban bérlek egy lakást. I rent an apartment in an apartment building. A munkahelyem az Eiffel-toronynál van, tömegközlekedéssel 20 perccel a lakásomtól. My workplace is near the Eiffel Tower, 20 minutes from my apartment by public transport. A vendéglátóiparban dolgozok felszolgálóként. I work in hospitality as a waiter. A Café Bonjourban dolgozok. I work at Café Bonjour. Budapesten jártam egyetemre, ahol turizmus és vendéglátást tanultam a BGF-en. I attended university in Budapest. I'm doing the same thing that I tell my students not to do. It's not Budapest, it's Budapest. When I speak English, So I attended university in Budapest, where I studied tourism and hospitality at BGF. 4 évet jártam oda, és MSc-t végeztem. I studied there for 4 years and earned a bachelor's degree. Van egy feleségem és 2 gyerekem, egy fiú és egy lány. I have a wife and 2 children, a boy and a girl. A feleségemet Chloe-nak, a fiamat Jean-Luc Picardnak, a lányomat pedig Erzsének hívják. My wife's name is Chloe, my son is Jean-Luc Picard, and my daughter's is Erzsé. A feleségem velem egyidős. My wife is the same age as me. Jean-Luc 5 éves, Erzsé pedig 3. Jean-Luc is 5 years old, and Erzsé is 3. Jean-Luc hajós kapitány akar lenni, ha majd nagy lesz, Erzsé pedig takarítónő. Jean-Luc wants to be a ship captain when he grows up, and Erzsé wants to be a cleaner. Van 4 testvérem is. Egy öcsém, egy húgom, egy nővérem és egy bátyám. I also have 4 siblings. A younger brother, a younger sister, an older sister and an older brother. Hetente 4-szer járok konditerembe. I go to the gym 4 times a week. Ha van egy kis szabadidőm, akkor vagy sorozatozok, vagy könyvet olvasok. If I have some free time, I either watch series or read books. Néha szoktam kirándulni is, és nyáron nagyon szeretek a parkban focizni. Sometimes I go hiking, and in the summer I love playing football in the park. Volt egy macskám, de 2 éve elhunyt. I used to have a cat, but it passed away 2 years ago. Jelenleg nincs háziállatom. Currently, I don't have any pets. And that's it, girls and boys! Pat yourself on the back if you have made it this far in the video. If you have questions, ask me in the comments. You will find a link in the description to the post in my paid Patreon member area, where you can get the PDF and audio. And not just that, but many other useful Hungarian learning materials. And by joining, you also help me to make more videos like this. You can also check out this video somewhere here on the screen. And don't forget, practice makes perfect. És ne felejtjétek, a gyakorlás teszi a mestert.